the Director of Public Prosecution has filed a further affidavit in the petition where we are challenging the guidelines of terrorism. In the further affidavit, 11 key issues are raised by the Director of Criminal Investigation. 1, if a letter to start the process was done by the Director of the DPP forwarded to the Inspector General. The Inspector General wrote to the Director of Criminal Investigation, one Judge Kinoti, to appoint officers and send them for that workshop. The Director of Criminal Investigation rejected. He has annexed a copy of the letter where he declined, because that is a mandate of ATPU. After he declined and the letter went back to the Inspector General, the next day a letter again, similar content, was drafted, taken clandestinely as per what Judge Kinoti is saying, given to his deputy who was on terminal leave behind the back of the Director of Criminal Investigation. The deputy was recalled from terminal leave. He actioned the matter to the Director of ATPU, Anti-Terrorism Police Unit. Then the program started. The Director of the DCI knew after he declined, no movement is moving on. The process started, an invitation was done. In the schedule of the thematic areas that are supposed to be discussed, nowhere is the question about guidelines is provided as a subject that was supposed to be discussed. What the members attended and did was to describe the job description and the mandates of their respective agencies. They stayed for 4 days in Naivasha, and the guidelines came to be born. In the abstract and in the affidavit of one Noordin Haji, he says there were 3 police officers from the office of the DCI. Those 3 DCI officers have sworn affidavits saying they were never present. Director of Criminal Investigation has produced a forensic scientific data showing where the officers were. Mr. Kinoti has attached that. Therefore, it is a clear question of forgery of signatures by the Director of Criminal Investigation by saying there were 3 DCI officers who appended their signatures who were not present. For the Director of Criminal Investigation has gone further to the hotels where the meetings were conducted and checked the hotel bookings, checked the attendance register, and completely found out that it was a forgery claiming that his department was there. The Director of Criminal Investigation Officer, George Kinoti, has gone further to locate the whereabouts of all these people who signed and whether their signatures were valid, because the telephone numbers are there. The data coming out that is forensic is that the document presented before the court are a forgery. The Director of Criminal Investigation has gone further to produce evidence that the principals who were there were not sufficiently represented. The document that was done by a consultant. The Director of Criminal Investigation has gone and investigated the qualification of a consultant. The qualification of that consultant is that he's a lecturer at one of the universities in Eldoret. He has never been involved anywhere in terrorism or prevention of terrorism. He has no qualification, both professional, both expertise on terrorism matters. The only qualification he has is that they share the same religion with the director of the DPP. That is within what, that is the qualification that the consultant had. This is a quack. This is a person without any skill, either trained in Israel, either trained in the USA, or trained in FBI, or trained in the art of terrorism. The Director of Criminal Investigation in his affidavit has dug the funding. Who funded the program? The funders were purely from one religious sect to the exclusion of the Christian faith. The Director has provided enough facts to show that the guidelines, one, failed the test of participation because all the stakeholders were never involved. The judiciary, which is the largest consumer, was never involved in what was going on in Naivasha. So in essence, the Director, or Mr. George Kinoti, has demanded that one, proper investigations be done on somebody who has done forgery, that is the DPP, with a view of him recording statements and him being arrested and being charged for the offense of forgery. This is a serious attack on the person who is the custodian of prosecution in this country. If indeed he can forge, then he's arresting people and charging them for forgery. What mandate does he have to stand and say he's the Director of Public Prosecution? Two, we are taking this file after we have found this affidavit. We will seek instructions from our clans to pursue still the matters before the Public Service Commission, where we had sued one Noordin Haji for incompetence. And now we have serious evidence against him, so that he should be removed from office for being a criminal suspect. Nowhere in Article 157 did anybody imagine that the Director of Public Prosecution can involve himself in matters fraud, in matters that are criminal in nature. So that is the evidence that one George Kinoti, through the Director of ATPU, has signed. Some of the principles, for example, the asset recovery, the Director, the boss there, was out of the country. So if signatures of people are being superimposed on documents like this one, what moral authority does the Director of Public Prosecution have to stay still in office? The affidavit we've shared with the media, it is a grave question on what is happening in the office of the Director of Public Prosecution. Any other questions?